Dear Diary, tried out for Annie today. Did I get the part? The results come out on December 12th. Ah! That's the first diary entry I ever wrote. I started keeping a diary when I was just 10 years old. I've been a diarist, which is basically a fancy name for someone who keeps a diary or a journal, for 8 consecutive years. In that time, I've learned a lot, from French conjugation to statistics, but aside from all of that, I've learned the importance of keeping a journal. It's a place where you can be completely honest without any judgment. When I'm writing, no one is rushing me to figure things out. I can just write and then put it away. Maybe tomorrow I'll understand more, or perhaps I won't. Whatever the case, a journal will listen and keep my secrets. I can't explain for sure why I started keeping a diary. I never wrote down an explicit reason. I think maybe in hindsight I just wanted to be like the cool older girls I saw on TV or in movies. Anne Hathaway in Princess Diaries was definitely an influence. Everything she did was the cool thing to do. Looking back on that movie, there really isn't much diary action in it, but it was in the title, so that was good enough for me. All the books I read about keeping a diary probably influenced me as well. The Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dear Dumb Diary, and Dork Diaries were all full of cool older kid emotions like apathy and angst. I figured if I started keeping a journal, something worth writing about would happen to me. Maybe I would star in my school's play and get discovered, or find a magic sword in the forest, or be crowned princess of some small European country. Still holding out on that one. I think I was just excited about the story of me and my life being documented like a real book. In the beginning, I wrote about once a week in a small sticker-covered notebook that I got as a free gift from a clothing company I liked. Then I started writing in a journal that was given to me, I think, by my older sister when she was getting rid of some stuff she didn't want. I wrote in that journal from 6th grade to 10th grade. Middle school, like for a lot of people, was kind of hard for me, specifically 7th grade. The way my middle school worked, everyone got split up into houses, kind of like Harry Potter, but not, because we didn't have a cool talking hat. Anyway, the issue with being split into houses was that it meant that I wouldn't necessarily be with my best friends. In fact, that is exactly what happened. I vividly remember on the first day of school sitting at a table with no one I knew at lunch because no one had saved a seat for me. I wrote more than I ever had during middle school because I felt like my journal was my closest friend. February 8th, 2015. I have decided that you, dearest diary, are my closest friend and confidant. You never tell my secret and always listen. Classes got harder and harder, and I started to feel like I wasn't smart enough. At the time, I didn't know I had ADHD. I just knew that I couldn't make myself do the work that I needed to, and that everyone thought I was a weirdo. I remember once in gym class, my friend and I were fooling around, running, jumping, and being generally rambunctious when some guys in my grade walked past us and started laughing at us. At first, we were having too much fun to notice, but then one of the guys turned around and said, "Geez, Julia, why do you have to be so annoying all the time?" I felt so embarrassed. That day when I got home from school, I ran up and wrote in my journal until my hands started to hurt. In my journal, I didn't have to worry that someone was judging me for my thoughts or my spelling. There is a lot of teen angst and anxiety in that journal. I have a new journal now. It's no longer my only friend or the only place where I feel like I can write, but it is still one of the only places where I feel I can be truly honest about every aspect of myself. If any of you are still wondering, I did not get the part of Annie. January 15th, 2012. Well, I got the part of a servant. Boo. In my little 11th grade brain, this was the greatest injustice of all time. But that's the great thing about journals. You get to watch yourself grow up. I've watched my handwriting change, my knowledge expand, and my outlook on life become a little less black and white. I've become a braver and more confident person because of my journal. It's so much easier to see things as they are and not as they seem in the moment when everything is written out on paper. I know that if something is difficult, I'll overcome it because I have a written record of everything I've ever gotten through in my teenage years. A journal isn't just a place to document yourself or a friend. It can just be a place to vent. You're also not wedded to your journal. You can write every day for a month, stop for a year, and come back to it. Recently, a friend of mine and I went through some of her old diary entries from elementary school. The week after, she texted me and told me that she'd started writing in her journal again. That was pretty cool. So why am I telling you all of this about my journals and my life? I want to challenge you to try journaling. Just take it one day at a time. Choose a format that you like and that's convenient to use. You can write every day, once a month, or once a year. Or maybe you'll just write when something important happens. A journal can be anything you want it to be, an app on your phone, a document on your laptop, or even a Post-it note. And it can take any form that you like, a bulleted list or essential words or even a picture. I just want you to try it. Maybe you'll really take to it, or maybe you'll hate it. What you'll have at the end of it is a documentation of what happened to you on today, March 31st, 2019. You can look back on it one day and see a perfect little snapshot of who you were then and who you are now. Before I go, I want to share with you the last entry from my second of 3 journals. Monday, June 12th, 2017. My diary from 6th grade to 10th grade ends here. Thank you for holding everything I needed you to. It's time for a change. Thank you.